Welcome into the Point After with Mitch Kaiser. I am your host, Mitch Kaiser, today, and I am joined by a friend of the pod, Dalton Wasserman from Preferred Walk On with Max Chadwick. Dalton, how are we doing today, man?
Good. I'm just glad to get the speculation, the anticipation of this draft over with. We're finally to the week of, right? And we can just stop speculating and just figure out how it's going to end up and how all these players fit in with these teams over the weekend.
Yeah, we've reached the Ty Simpson is Josh Allen stage of draft season, and some of the comps are having. So I tweeted out last week when I saw that video, I was like, I just need this draft to happen already because the hot takes are just getting preposterous at this point. We just need this draft to be over already so that we can start scouting for next year because I'm kind of over it, man.
Yeah, look, Ty Simpson's Josh Allen. Every receiver is George Pickens. Every running back is David Montgomery. I mean, we've gotten too deep in the weeds now. You're right. We just gotta get on with it.
Yep. Real quick, I'm digging the lightning hat, man. You wearing that for Trevor? Big playoff series there in the midst of.
Yeah. They fell in game one. I don't have my New Jersey Devils in the playoffs this year. They missed out despite having a bunch of talent. But always, you know me, living in Tampa for a long time and rooting for the Lightning, and it's certainly better than watching any baseball for me right now. So we'll go with it's hockey season right now for us.
Yeah,
we'll go with it.
You don't need to tell me about teams losing game one. So we're just gonna move on. All right, moving on to the mock draft. So I'm gonna share the PFF mock draft simulator here. We're going to do one round. We actually have some updated trades. So updated news from a couple days ago. The Bengals traded the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. I think this is a phenomenal trade. Dalton, you tweeted out as well. I'll get your thoughts on it in a second. I saw Bengals fans on Twitter, some of them were freaking out over not liking the trade, thinking that's too much capital to give up. And the way I see it here, it's as simple as this for me. There is not a player you're going to get in this class who will ever be as good as Dexter Lawrence as an interior defender. Plain and simple. So that is how I see it. Some people think that was too much value. ESPN graded it as a D for the Bengals and an A for the Giants, which, like you said, I think it's a win-win for both teams. That is the exact defensive tackle the Bengals needed. One of the best in the league. You're like we said, you're not getting a player of his caliber at 10 overall, not in this draft class at least. So I love the trade for the Bengals. I think it really makes them get serious for this year about going for the Super Bowl like they've been wanting to the past few years. What are your quick thoughts on that before we start the mock draft?
I think there's a good chance it's a win-win trade. I do agree that the Giants get an A for getting the 10th overall pick for a player who didn't want to be there, right? And they can figure out defensive tackle as they go. And to be honest with you, Lawrence wasn't healthy last year, and they need to rework the inside of that defensive line anyway. They can do that more in this draft. For the Bengals, I would go closer early on, at least to a B, B+. You're still getting an older player who's coming off an injury, a year where he was hurt and he wasn't at his best, but when he's healthy, it's a top 3 defensive tackle in the league. And you mentioned that they're picking 10th where the Bengals were. It was a very in-between spot in this draft because I think that's the very beginning of the range where you might not get an elite defensive player that you want. And you mentioned it, there's no defensive tackle in this class, at least barring something I think very unexpected, that's going to be as good as Dexter Lawrence, right? So they want to change the middle of that defense. They can still focus on other spots like edge, linebacker, safety in round 2 and 3. I think it's a fair trade. Obviously, it's a lot to give up the 10th overall pick, but this is a thin draft. And, I've run through mock scenarios before where the Bengals were picking at 10 and I was looking at the options and I'm like, I'm trading out of this. I don't even want this. So to get Dexter Lawrence, I think it's a worthy gamble to take. If he's healthy, he changes the entire look of their defensive line.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting from the Giants' perspective too, because looking at their roster, I'm not going to say they don't have a lot of needs because they're obviously picking 5th for a reason, but they don't have a ton of glaring needs. They can kind of do some luxury picks here, and we'll get into what we do ultimately pick for them. You're going to take evens. I'm going to take odds. So we'll each get 1 pick for the Giants here, which is good. You're going to get your 2 Jets picks because I know you're going to revamp the Jets roster here and make them a lead again. So without further ado, let's get into it here. I will share my mock draft simulator here. Let me know if you can see the screen, Dalton.
Yep, we're good.
I'm not sure what that is on. All right, cool. All right. We're going to enter the draft here, and we're going to kick off the first pick with the Fernando Mendoza. No need to spend any more time on it. We've talked enough on Mendoza. Confident he's going to be the pick, confident he's going to be the player, and I think the Raiders got their guy. So Jets on the clock, Dalton. This is your team. Make the pick for accuracy here, and then tell me what you would do if you were drafting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there should be a lot more guys on the board than are being talked about. Lately, it's just been Arvell Reese and David Bailey as the conversation. I would still have Reuben Bain in the conversation. I would still have Caleb Downs in the conversation. I understand the positional value argument, but in this draft, it's just, I mean, there's just so few elite players, and if Downs is one of them, he is. I do think still I'm leaning towards. I still think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Arvell Reese. I think there's a lot more variance on from the consensus about Bailey and his final outcomes. Is he just a pass rusher? Is he a 3-down player? What do you do? To me, if you draft David Bailey, also I think there's a decent chance you're trying to trade Will McDonald because they're basically the same type of player. So. I think it's going to be Reese. I think the fact that he can play the hybrid role, he can play linebacker first, which is what I would do with him. And even then, it makes it kind of interesting of whether they would try to get rid of a Jamie and Sherwood as well, or how they would rotate that. But I think they're just going to take the athletic talent and run with it, figure out the position as they go. Again, I would go in about an 80-20 split and put him 80% at linebacker. I think they're just going to take the talent here, though. And, if they do take David Bailey, I think Will McDonald is definitely
I was going to ask you on that. What is up with the smoke on that? Because all of a sudden you're seeing like David Bailey go from like 9 to like 2. And it's like, what's up with that late in the process, I guess? I like David Bailey. He's in my top 10 prospects, of course, but I would still have Bain above him if you're going to go for just one of the pure edge rushers guys.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Bain's more well-rounded, but when you can rush the passer, I mean, that's how it closes out. I mean, Bailey's been getting a lot of the Nick Bonito comp lately, and if there's a chance you can get prime Nick Bonito and what he's done the last couple of years, I mean, that's worth a high pick, a top 5 pick. So he's been the most productive pass rusher really in college football over the last 2 years, but it depends on how much you're weighing that versus run fits versus positional needs, and just again the ceiling of what he could be. So I do think it is a fun conversation to have. I think the Jets are still having those conversations. They're probably not entirely sure, but I think it's felt like the favorite the entire time was Reese, and that's what it's going to end up with.
I agree. I think that'll be the pick on draft night. All right, here's a pick I genuinely have no idea who it's going to be on draft night. Like, I have no clue. I'm not sure what you're hearing on Rumor Mill, but like, as we get closer and closer to this, I've seen a different player mock to the Cardinals at 3 in like almost every mock I've read. And it's funny because some you get Ty Simpson all the way up at 3, which that's a little rich for me. I wouldn't mind Ty Simpson on the Cardinals at the pick 32 or 3 or whichever pick they are in the second round. I've seen the couple tackles, Mawanoa and Fano mock to them a couple times to shore up the right side of that offensive line, which I don't hate that idea. I've seen Jeremiah Love mocked here a couple times as maybe just blue chip player, best player in the draft. I don't want to draft a running back and pay him that much, though. That's my thing. I'm not drafting a running back 3rd overall. Their D line's not too great either, but again, I don't know if I'm reaching for one. Like, I don't know if it's a reach. I'm gonna take Fano here because he's my top right tackle. I think it's a safer pick than Mawanoa personally. But I do think I think Mawanoa has a better chance of going higher than Fano. I would take Fano. Thoughts on that pick? That's probably like a random one you'll see, but I genuinely have no clue what the Cardinals are going to do. I'm not sure.
I don't think anybody has any clue right now. I think the Cardinals they're quickly becoming one of the most fascinating teams, and for that reason, it's like, who do we take here? It's the reason that all the rumors are that they would prefer to trade down. They want to trade down. Again, it's just a matter of who's going to make that jump. We saw them do it a few years ago, trading out of the Will Anderson pick and then trading back up to get Paris Johnson, and they're going to be willing to listen, right? If anybody's looking to come up and get Sonny Styles or David Bailey or whoever that may be, there's been rumors about the Chiefs at 9. Maybe the Commanders don't really have a lot of draft capital, but I mean, you just talk about the number of teams with ammo. I mean, Dallas, there's been rumors about Dallas moving up from 12, right? I think the Cardinals want to get out of that pick so they don't feel the pressure of having to make that decision with the 3rd overall pick. But the Jeremiah Love rumors, I think, are real. I think they're very real because he's at least the best offensive player in this class, if not the best football player. Sonny Styles, Reuben Bain, these guys are all the offensive linemen. They're all options, man. I think, there's at least a 50-50 shot that you see the Cardinals trade out of this pick, and it would not shock me at all if they traded down from this pick and then up from 34 to go get Ty Simpson. We're not doing trades in this one, but I think you could see a similar trade as what you got with Jackson Dart last year.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I think they are a very likely team to trade down from this pick on draft night, which is only 3 nights away. Crazy! I can't believe we're already here, but I'm glad we're finally here at least. So, all right. Speaking of the Titans, you're up now with them. Pick 4 on the clock. What are you doing here?
This is interesting because I think this is another team that would at least listen. They would at least listen to trade down options. I think if there's a team that wants Jeremiah Love, if there's a team that wants Sonny Styles, David Bailey has obviously been a hot trade up target as well for some teams. I think this is a pick that is not 100% going to be the Tennessee Titans on draft night, the more you think about it. But if they're going to stay, I think they're going to just go ahead and roll with Jeremiah Love and give Cam Ward that support in the run game. They need a level of explosiveness. Yes, they have Tony Pollard, and he can grind out yards, solid veteran to have, but this Titans team does not have a ton of home run ability, and they don't have a ton of balance. The other underrated one would be offensive line, because they're going to have to address their offensive line at some point in this draft, but I'm not really – you did it with Fano at 3. I'm not super comfortable with really – probably any offensive lineman in the top 5. I know even the Browns at 6 are like the heaviest O-line team that really needs a left tackle, but it's tough. I just don't think anybody's that good to be passing up a premier talent. So I'm going to go with Love. I know, again, it's not traditional. It's, running back taken high. We saw Ashton Jitsi struggle last year with a bad O-line, but they need a playmaker, and if they're going to stay at this pick, I think they might take the guy who they feel is best player in the draft.
Yeah, I like it. I think if I had to bet money on it, I think this will be the pick on draft night. And something Mike Renner told me when he was doing a mock draft with me was he said you're drafting more than just like the on-field player in this one. Like, you're kind of drafting the whole person and his personality, because Jeremiah Love's such an awesome dude and everybody raves about him, and off the field too, that like it feels like a Saquon Barkley pick where like that's a superstar. That's what a superstar in pro sports looks like. Get him in the building. He's gonna elevate others around him. Obviously, he's not a quarterback, but like I'm talking like confidence, motivation wise, like just like personality wise. I do think that stuff matters, and I think Love fits the bill on that. So it does feel like a safe pick, even though it is a running back, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, what makes the special running back special is the ability to hit home runs, the explosive ability, right? Think of all the great backs in the history of the NFL. It's because they could score from anywhere on the field, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've
seen
Love
can do that.
40, 60, 90-plus yard runs. I mean, a guy who can flip the field. And the NFL run games are, they're emphasizing that more. Yes, it's about physically dominating, but it's about creating those explosive plays, right? Can you rip off 10 and 15 and 20-yard chunks at a time? The game-breaking 4.3 speed is obviously nothing to sneeze at, man, and it's very, very real, and he does it at 210 pounds. I mean, he can be a game breaker, and the Titans need balance. They need to take some of the pressure off of Ward. So if they stay, I'm with you. I think that's the most likely pick. I think David Bailey would also be an option there. I think they need a speedier edge rusher like that. They just don't have that right now, but Jeremiah Love's so good, man, and this is such a deep edge class, and it's such a shallow running back class. There's no even close to as good as Jeremiah Love. So, I mean, if you get this shot, I totally get it.
Yep. I'm going Sonny Styles here. I've done it in just about every mock I've done. I think this is a perfect shoe-in pick for them. I don't care about positional value here. I think this guy's going to be a superstar linebacker for many years to come. So that's all I'll say on Sonny. You're up on the
it's such a big need with the I'm with you, actually. I'd be curious to see. I haven't looked at any betting odds or anything like that, but if there was anything I might put money on, it's Sonny Styles going 5, because
in a Giants jersey,
you're gonna have to trade up to get him. John Harbaugh loves the linebacker position. And you talk about they have Tremaine Edmonds, they have Micah McFadden. McFadden's got a lot of starting experience, but he just doesn't bring the ceiling that Styles brings you athletically. I mean, the range that you can have with Tremaine Edmonds and Sonny Styles in your linebacking core. And if you're going to make up, and look, you can find defensive tackles later. They drafted Darius Alexander. There's rumors about them eventually here signing DJ Reader as well to fill in that gap for Lawrence. So you can find defensive linemen, D tackles in this draft, especially. Sonny Styles is a special linebacker prospect. To me, the best linebacker in this draft. And he, they need help. They need help in the middle of their defense. And I think this is a perfect pick to now go, okay, now you have the flexibility. Caleb Downs is there at 10, Mansour Delane, receiver, whatever we want to do here at 10, but locking in Sonny Styles who would not get to 10 is big. I'll be honest, if there's not a trade, I'm about 95% sure Styles is going to be the 5th pick.
Yeah. Yep. No, I would agree. I think I've been mocking that every week, so I'm hoping for it at this point, honestly, because I think he fits them so well. So,
Yep.
Browns, you're up. You got both Browns picks.
This is a hard one. This is hard because I fully believe the noise that they want to trade down. It makes so much sense for them to trade down because this is where it gets hard. I'm like, the receivers and the tackles that they need, there's none of them that I love at 6. I know that, there's been some talk too that the Browns might be something of a wild card and just maybe would take just a talented player if it was Reuben Bain or Caleb Downs and just go, you know what, let's just get a great player here. I'm for now, if they're not trading out, which I think there's a good chance they could, because the Commanders sitting there at 7 are probably going to they could take a defensive piece, and there's some other teams that, Dallas especially could be the case.
Commanders are praying for one of these guys, Bain or Bailey, I think.
And at this point, one of them will be there.
Right.
I'm gonna stick with the pick that I've been making the most often. I'm gonna take Carnell Tate here to Cleveland.
Yep.
But I think they're another team, just like the Cardinals and the Titans. They are looking to get out. And the Commanders, I'll be honest, the Commanders too, they'll probably, with this board shaking the way it did, they might stick, but they don't have a lot of draft picks either. I think only 5 of them. The Commanders might be looking to trade out if they could.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because we've talked about wide receivers many times. You know my rankings. I know your rankings. I love Carnell Tate. He's my wide receiver 2. However, my wide receiver 1 is Jordan Tyson, of course, from Arizona State, who I love as a prospect. I think the Browns should take him here. Like, if you're going receiver, because I break it down this way. If I am building an NFL offense, or even just a college offense, if I'm building an offense and I have my 2 receivers, one is Tyson and one is Tate, Tyson's my wide receiver 1 and Tate is my wide receiver 2. And that's how I'm viewing them in my progressions, I feel like. And I feel like that's how an offense would build itself as well, because Tate has never been a 1. Tyson's always been the 1. Not that that's how it's going to work in the NFL, but you know what I'm trying to say. Do you think Jeremiah Smith being on the opposite end, like, props up Tate at all, and that a team should be worried about him being a true 1, I guess?
No, I just think in this class, even though you might get 2 or 3 of these guys going in the top 15, I think it's more just in general. We don't have a Jeremiah Smith type prospect. We don't have Julio Jones. We don't have Jamar Chase in this class. Like, these guys are going this high because it's just not a very good draft class in general. It's not because, Carnell Tate is the same type of prospect as Marvin Harrison Jr., right?
No.
It's just that the Browns need a receiver. The Commanders need a receiver. The Saints,
that's
the Chiefs,
almost like...
I mean, all of these teams,
right.
5 through 10, even 4 through 10, to be honest, they all have some extent of wide receiver need. All of them.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate to me could become a lower end wide receiver 1. Like, I don't think he's Justin Jefferson or in that class of guys. But he is good. I'm like, if you're the Browns,
you have to start with something. He's a 2. That's the thing.
Sure.
Right. And again, he could develop and explode at the next level. Maybe not having Jeremiah Smith will actually help him get him more targets. Who knows? But like, I just think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if he will ever be a 1 on a good team. I think his best role is probably a 2, like a T. Higgins role.
He might not. He might not. I mean, but on Cleveland, they've got to figure it out.
I would be wide receiver 1 right now on Cleveland.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's exactly why though the Browns are also looking to trade down, because they go, if we traded down to 12 or 13 or somewhere in there, we can get a receiver. We'll get one of these guys and we'll feel good about it.
Plus, Jordan Tyson's brother, Jalen, plays for the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, so you just match him up and bring him up there with his brother. They can be roommates and do a whole podcast or whatever. So
the real reason these things should happen in the draft. Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Tate is low moving costs, as we talk about, so that works too. So
true.
All right, moving on. I spent too much time on the Browns. Like we just said, last pick, this is going to be one of the edge rushers. I'm not arguing if you have Bailey over Bain. I personally have Bain above Bailey. I think it's very close. I think you're splitting hairs. The Saints might take the one that drops to them then. Is that what you're doing?
Saints are a hard one. Here's what I'll say with the Bain and Bailey argument. Now, I'm with you. I have Bain edge 1. I do think Bailey's going first. I think
that's what I'm seeing on Twitter, man. It's
I think
wild.
he's going for, like, I think if the Commanders were presented with that and they weren't trading down, It just feels like all the noise around the league and all the insiders and everybody, it feels like Bailey's going to go before Bane. Now, I'm with you. I think either one of them makes them better. I think Caleb Downs or Mansour Delane or anybody there's a lot of consideration. Jordan Tyson could have been a thought there too with Washington, right? I think that would have made a lot of sense. But no, I think when you look at Bane, what he can do is just a well-balanced player. And they only have Caleb on Chase on a one-year deal, right? They're still trying to overhaul this edge room. They obviously, they got Odafe Owe. They paid him a bunch of money. But Bane would be a long-term solution there. So I get it. I'm with you. If you're going edge, I would do that. It just feels like David Bailey's going for
it. That's fair.
Oh, the Saints. The Saints are so difficult. They're so
Make your mom proud here with a good draft pick.
I've been messing around with the idea of Caleb Downs here, but they need a receiver so bad. Is this where I buy in the Jordan Tyson hype? Do we do it here and we get Tyler Shuck a weapon? Because now
he's not I thought your wide receiver 2 is Lemon, isn't it?
I think Tyson's going before Lemon.
Okay.
When you hear all the noise when you hear all the noise from a lot of these insiders, I think Lemon's
Let's talk about that then.
He's going to be the third one.
Let's talk about that then, because Tyson's draft stock has been like this and this. And like, you know me, I've thought he's the clear wide receiver 1 the whole time. I comp him to Justin Jefferson route running ability. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be like the best receiver in the NFL and be Justin Jefferson's career. I'm saying, I saw Ian Hartitz tweeted this out. If you do a silhouette and watch Jordan Tyson run routes, you feel like you're watching Justin Jefferson. That's not a joke or like.
No, I think you could easily argue he's the best route runner in the street. Yeah. He's certainly the best intermediate, especially deep in cuts and things like that. He's the best intermediate route runner.
But the medicals, that's what seems to be scaring everyone. And I don't know.
If the scouts liked what they saw the other day with this workout that he did, yesterday even, I think it was, this is starting to feel like top 15 is a lock. And there's so many teams that need receiver. I think Tyson. I love Makai Lemon. We'll get into him in a bit, but let's go Jordan Tyson here.
You're doing it. All right.
They need something. They need something.
That's my guy.
They don't have a desperate need off the edge. I would consider Caleb Downs here as well. I think I could add Caleb Downs to any defense and feel good about it, right?
So,
but I think the Saints are just so thin at receiver right now that I'm going with it. Get Chris Olave some sort of help out there.
Okay. Chiefs are on the clock, and they have 2 really good value picks here. I'm looking at either David Bailey or Caleb Downs. See, I think if the Chiefs get Caleb Downs, he's a all-pro safety for 15 years, and he just has a Hall of Fame career. But I would say that about any player the Chiefs draft because they've just owned the league for however many years. They do need edge help because all they have is Karlaftis. I don't think Bailey will be here at 9. That's the thing. Like you said, he might go to the Commanders 2 picks prior, which would leave Bane here.
I'll say this, the way that a lot of the talks have been is that this would be the floor for Bailey. If the Chiefs were going to trade up, there are rumors that it would be for him because they need pressure up front.
They need all right, let's do Bailey.
I think any of Bailey, Downs, or Delane is a good pick there, but I think that's the floor for Bailey because the Chiefs they need somebody they whiffed on Anadolu.
Dude, if the Giants get both Ohio State defensive players now, holy crap.
Well, this is the argument is that
if Downs, you want to do it or not.
I've been saying Styles and a receiver, but those 2 receivers going where they did, my options here are Downs, Delane, or I drop down to Makai Lemon at receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be...
At that point, man.
I would not take Delane over. I know they need corner help, but I know their safeties are better than their corners, but like, I just think Downs is going to be the way better pro player.
Yeah, I mean, Downs will come in, and I think they would either relegate him or they would trade Tyler Nubin. Let's go with Caleb because let's go Caleb Downs. He's my number 1 player on the board. This would be because the Giants are in such a win-win here.
Look at that. Giants with Downs and Styles. That's crazy. The Buckeyes,
I think
man.
Styles,
those are like the 2 best players in the draft.
Right. I think Styles is a must at 5. I really do. But it gives you the option because, like, look at those 5 players that just went off the board, right?
Yeah.
Or if the Giants, even if they wanted to go offensive line or something else like that, or Mekhi Lemon. I mean, they're the most interesting team in this draft. They have 2 top 10 picks.
Definitely.
And I mean, you just mentioned, I think they just got the number 1
the 2 best
3
players in the class. Maybe
they got the number 1 and 3 player, I believe, on my board in Downs and Styles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just living right there. You talked about John Harbaugh trying to build a defense, but they can get receiver in round 2, and there's plenty of decent receivers they can add there.
Oh my God, he's getting his next Kyle Hamilton too. Think about that.
Right.
A safety. I mean,
think about
who's clearly the best player, like clearly one of the top 3 players in his draft class, falling to the double-digit picks. Insane.
Coming from Baltimore, right. you immediately in this spot.
That's why it has to be.
I just got Roquan and Hamilton again. We just did it. Like
if Harbaugh
it would. This wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. We can't let that happen. But oh well. All right. This pick is a shoo-in for me. I feel like this falls into their lap as the Dolphins. They got to get corner talent in the building. They need Mansour Delane. I have Jermod McCoy as my CB1. I think McCoy's ceiling is way higher. I think he's going to have the better career. However, I think the injury concern off the ACL is going to force him to be CB2 on draft night.
It might be lower than that. Credit here to Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated. I think this morning was just writing that you could see Jermod McCoy be this year's Will Johnson.
Is he going to fall?
Hey,
but Will Johnson had an okay rookie year.
He did, but he didn't go to the middle of the second round.
No, yeah.
Real concern about a knee injury. I mean, I think that's a very real concern here with with McCoy. He's going to be one of the biggest wild cards of this draft too, because he feels like the guy who might go later in the first that somebody's getting a steal on. It's just we saw the pro day. The pro day was fine, and it was more than fun. It was great, but I mean, I think those concerns are real. We saw it twice last year with Will Johnson and with Ben Morrison, who you could argue with other than Travis Hunter, the 2 most talented corners in the draft. But I'm starting to think McCoy's not going this high. That he might not go top 20.
Cowboys, I've seen him mocked here a couple times. So are you going your other DB? Your guy here?
Probably, yeah. If they stick at 12, I'm gonna keep rolling with it. Right there. So Dylan Thieneman. This is why that run of players that we just had go. This is where all of a sudden it just cuts off, and it's like, okay, there's a little. Thieneman's like, I don't have him as a drop. I think he's awesome. Let's go Dylan Thieneman here, and 20 is actually the harder pick with the Cowboys. But again, will not be shocked at all if they trade up into the top 8, 6, maybe even 3 or 4. They want premium players. Thieneman's close. If he isn't, he's close. But yeah. I think you're going to hear a lot about the Cowboys come Thursday, too.
All right. This is interesting because we've talked about the Rams a couple times as having the least needs of any team in football. They have the most loaded roster. They would be my pick to win the Super Bowl right now if we're betting on it. So this is kind of a value pick where you can take a luxury maybe. I mocked them Jordan Tyson a couple weeks ago. Obviously, Jordan Tyson's not available here. Couple of the tackles seem like premium value for an older offensive line. So, okay. Because I think the Ravens, I have mocked Malinois to the Ravens as an interior guard. So I think that's what the Ravens are like, quote unquote, hoping for. He falls to them. Do I just take Freeling here? What do you think? Because, I would take Lemon if I'm them, and I would just get another talented receiver in the door and build with Puka, Adams, and Lemon. But I don't, in Southern California, low moving costs. I don't know, though. What are you seeing, I guess?
I would prefer, if you were going the O-line route, I would prefer Malinois. I have him as my top offensive lineman. He's the consensus top offensive lineman. I think he fits their system. It's a very downhill system nowadays. They're very well. Warren McClendon, maybe if they feel great about him being the long-term answer at right tackle, cool. If not, and you want to move him back into a swing role, you take Malinois, and it's a run game that is very similar to what Miami ran, and he's so used to it, and he's so powerful. And so
you're getting one of the highest consensus players.
I think that pick to me would come down to Mawanoa or Lemon.
Those are the two I was down to.
I'd be cool either way. I wouldn't have an issue there.
I'm lower on Lemon than the consensus, but I do think he will go higher than I personally think. And I could easily see him here. Mawanoa, again, it's not a sexy pick where you're going to see the benefits year one, but I think he can develop into a very good offensive lineman in the NFL. And it is a line that's getting up there in age. So that's my thought process.
No, I'm with you on that. Baltimore at 14. This again comes down to two guys for me. It's either Mekhi Lemon or it's Venga Ioane. Ioane is the guy that I've been drafting the most to
Big
Baltimore.
Hole at left guard.
Yeah, depending on whichever side they play Simpson at. I mean, they'll figure that part out as they go. But they need a center, they need a guard.
They have my favorite offensive tackle's name in the NFL, Roger Rosengarten. I love that name. Roger Rosengarten.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give me Ioane. I'm gonna say they'll feel better about the receiver depth than guard. I think there's some decent players they could get on day two, but Ioane to me is clearly the best guard in this draft. I have him as the second best offensive lineman.
I love the pick, yeah.
And at a certain point, Lamar Jackson, look, he was hurt last year. He struggled under pressure. You don't want Lamar Jackson's life to be any harder than it needs to be, especially with a new offensive coordinator in there, a new coaching staff in there in general. So I've done it a lot. I'm going to stick to it. I'm doing another mock with Max tomorrow. I'll probably do it again. Venga Ioane, Baltimore. It makes too much sense to me.
Yeah, I think Trevor mocked that on my show last week because we were talking about what they were going to do at left guard, and we were saying how, well, if Mawanoa's there, you just turn him into a guard. And then Trevor brought up the point. He was like, well, if you're trying to turn a tackle into a guard, why don't you just take the best guard? And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like,
agreed.
As we say, imagine drafting good football players.
Ioane hasn't given up a sack since week 10 of 2023.
It's a long time ago.
I mean, you want pass protection, and it's not like John Simpson's a long-term answer either. They're going to have to draft, to me, multiple interior offensive linemen. Multiple.
All right. Speaking of Trevor, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This is the hardest pick in the draft.
Are you
This is
serious?
The hardest pick in the
Or are you okay?
No, I'm serious. This is every time.
Yeah.
Every time I do a mock,
I'm lower on Sadiq.
I'm with you. I don't think they should.
I don't think he's anything special. I'm not.
I don't know what they should do.
I think he's a fine tight end prospect. I don't think he's gonna set the world on fire.
Every single time I do a mock and I get to 15, I want to trade down. Now we're not doing that here.
Yeah.
But
they can easily take C.J. Allen and be happy and go home. You know. I think that's a little high, but they need linebacker help.
Oh no, it's high. I hate it. The Bucks.
I would take Goldie on day two.
I'm with yes, or even if Rodriguez gets it. If I'm the Bucks,
could it be Mesidor?
It could, man, I don't know, because there's also the thing about the age. No, we've hit the point where like the first 14 players in this draft, the ones that we've drafted, those are those other. I'm going to throw Lemon in there as one more, but he's not going to Tampa. That would be lunacy if they drafted him right after Ibuka.
All right.
The first 14 players in this draft are like the 14 elite players, and then the Bucks are sitting. Like, to me, here's what I would do that we're not going to do.
It's like
right
the NBA draft lottery ends at pick 14, and then the real draft just starts at 15. It's like that.
I think a trade that I would do here for both sides. And it's going to get talked about a lot this week, and it's something we won't do. I might find a way with Max to do it tomorrow. I would, if I'm the Bucks, I'd call Pittsburgh about moving down to 21. The Steelers can come up and get, let's say they want Monroe Freeling or Mekhi Lemon, something like that. Yeah. Let's say they want something at 15. I would call the Steelers, and I would find a way to swap these picks and get Alex Highsmith into Tampa and figure out how to get that done. That's what I would do here.
This seems like a trade candidate.
For me, the Bucks, unless somebody they really love falls to them, to me, the Bucks picking at 15 is actually the worst case scenario. I hate it. I don't know what out of this list that
I hate the pick I'm about to make, but I'm gonna make it just for simplicity. We're going Sadiq, tight end, 15. He's gonna go way higher than I think he should.
Yeah,
I think he's a fine tight end. I kept waiting for more out of him at Oregon. I thought he left a lot to be desired, if I'm being honest. You know where I stand on Stowers. I think Eli Stowers is going to have the better career of tight end, but he also may just be a wide receiver. So we'll see what happens there. Sadiq's a better blocker. Obviously had the better combine, tested better as an athlete, but I just didn't see it with the production. But they have a tight end need. I keep seeing him go higher and higher up draft boards. I'm not really understanding it, but scouts seem to fall in love with him, so let's just make the pick there then.
Yeah, I just the Bucs, all of their needs just don't line up with the 15th pick.
Yeah.
Tight end you can get anywhere from rounds 2 to 4.
Because you're not getting Sonny Styles, so
no, I mean linebacker they can get on in round 2. Edge they can get throughout the entire draft. It's the best position in the draft. I mean, they're so stuck. That would be me. I would try to swap down with Pittsburgh and try to get Alex Highsmith out of them. I would.
Here's a pick that falls into your lap right here.
Oh, simple. Give me Mekhi Lemon. No, not a question here. There's been a lot of talk about. There's been tons of talk about. Well, I hope so. There's been a ton of talk about Omar Cooper with this pick. I think there's a decent gap between Lemon and Cooper.
You know that, but he's probably not.
I mean, he's for the sake of prediction, I'm gonna have to get him off the board here soon. But if I have a choice. If the Jets walk out of this with whatever they take it to and Mekhi Lemon, I'll give him an A for the night. I feel really good about night 1.
All right. Lions on the clock. This feels like it's going to be the pick already because I keep seeing him mocked here. This is not my top tackle. You know where I stand with Max on this one. I think Caden Proctor is the best tackle prospect in the class. I think he's got all-pro left tackle written all over him. But he also has potential bust written all over him, just with those types of big-ass O-line prospects, I guess. So we're going to take Freeling because I'm seeing that mocked as the common Lions pick, and I've heard that Brad Holmes already has, interviewed the guy, loves the guy, whatever. I would take Caden Proctor and pair up him with Penei Sewell, and I think you'd form the most dominant tackle duo in the NFL, but Maybe Freeling will do it as well and pair up with Sewell. So, thoughts on that?
For all those reasons, and Proctor is a player that, especially in the last week or two, that he might go higher than we think. I mean, he's
Renner's OT1.
Somebody with all the potential. He's 19 on consensus right now.
Dude, the data backs him up too. Like the number, if we're obviously PFF grade is, there's take it as you grain of salt, but the numbers all point to Proctor being better and the development, the improvement. I don't get it, man. I don't know what people are waiting for.
To me, it's his weight for sure. It's definitely his weight, and it's about to me, it's a little bit of system fit. There's certain places he wouldn't fit, and this is why I think this turn right here, the Bucs and the Jets. I don't think it's getting talked about enough from those two picks. Those are prime trade down spots. Even if the Jets traded down, I think it would make sense because if you're at this point in the draft. Even with Mawanoa gone and Fano gone, right? And they could still be, I don't know, the predictability of this draft is, I don't even know where it's at beyond the first 5 or 6 picks. But getting ahead of the Lions, if you're the Steelers, if you're Carolina, if you're the Browns, if you're Philadelphia, anybody, getting ahead of the Lions for an offensive tackle could be an arms race. The Bucs and the Jets are 2 teams that I think a lot of teams are going to be calling so they can get ahead of Detroit to get Freeling, or Proctor, or maybe Fano, or somebody. Because the Lions, we feel about 80 to 90% sure they're taking an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And if other teams feel the same way, the Bucs and the Jets, I mean, they could get a pretty decent haul.
Watch them go edge. The one time we don't think they'll go edge. Because I've been asking Brad Holmes to draft an edge since Aiden. So
I think those are clearly, to me, the 2 biggest needs. But I think with the depth of the edge class and the way these tackles sound like they're going to get off the board in round 1, getting ahead of the Lions are going to do that in round 1 because there's good edge players in round 2 and 3. There's legitimately starting caliber edge players they could get at number 50 or wherever it is they're picking in the second round.
I'm a big R. Mason Thomas guy. I want him on round 2.
That's the type of player they need.
I think he's going to be a beast, man.
If they came out with Freeling and Thomas rounds 1 and 2, it's a great draft.
His impact down for down is unlike anyone. I swear. He is not, I don't know if he's a 3-down player, but when Oklahoma used him to just rush the passer, he is exceptional at it.
Oh no, he's one of the best pure pass rushers in the
Yeah.
draft. It is just a matter of how often can you leave him out there on 1st and 10.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm,
Nope.
I'm, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Those are the two big, but I think they're going offense first. It's the way
I
that
agree.
it's the position depth of it. But anyway, what are we at? 18
Vikings.
here with Minnesota.
You're up.
Um,
Going my guy?
I don't think so. I'm going to go with an underrated need for them because all those needs listed in the tracker there, running back, center, D tackle, I'm doing all those later. Those are all day 2 things for me in this draft.
Draft is for value. Free agency is for need.
I'm actually going to stack up this offense a little bit more. And this is a sleeper pick I've been making if it gets here. Give me Omar Cooper out of Indiana.
Wow.
This is somebody they can
That's
upgrade.
That's a disgusting receiving core now.
It is.
It already was.
They lost Jalen Naylor, but you've got Jefferson, you've got Addison. You only have one more year of Hawkinson. I think they would think about Sadiq if he was sitting here. But I'll take Omar Cooper. Get an after-the-catch type of weapon in there. Get just one more. Stay in that 11 personnel. Really mix it up at times. And, anything to make Kyler Murray's life a little bit easier there, right? Because we're making that assumption. That's a team that can make the postseason. I think adding another weapon would be smart. And I don't know if down the line a Jordan Addison extension is coming. I think Cooper would be a nice long play for them at receiver. I don't love the idea of Cooper in the top 20, but it's going to happen. And I think Minnesota could be an underrated team for them.
I'm starting to like it more. I didn't think I'd be there a few weeks ago. So maybe a little high, but I definitely think I would love them in the 20s if I was a team for sure. But all right, Carolina Panthers, a team who doesn't have a lot of needs. So I'm going to throw a pick.
You can go a lot of different directions here for sure.
The Ike Ekwonu injury concerns me more than others. I'll just say that. I think that's a real concern. I like obviously Tet McMillan. You and I were higher on Tet than anybody. Jalen Coker is going to take over that wide receiver 2 role. This is where I might go Proctor because I legitimately think the talent this guy possesses. I'm not in love with the O-line long term. I think you're getting Bryce Young his bodyguard here. And I think this helps. I'm going Caden Proctor. The only question is if Bryce can see over him on the line. So,
I said Proctor. He never played behind Proctor.
I don't think so. That would have been the first year after.
Yeah, it didn't cross over like that. Yep. He played with J.C. Latham. That's close enough.
But he also gets another receiver too. Caden Proctor in the open.
Bryce played with Evan Neal too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. That's always big monsters.
He might turn into that if I'm wrong about his
you could justify a lot of things here for the Panthers. If they wanted to take the swing on McCoy, cool. I could see them taking another linebacker, cool. D-line, they always need D-line down there in Carolina. It's just an issue. But the O-line too, not just the Ekwonu bit, but that's an older, expensive offensive line. Taylor Moton, I think, is 32 or 33 years old. The 2 guards are older. If you ever had to move Proctor into guard, the 2 guards are old and kind of expensive. Not old, but kind of expensive and veteran guys. But Proctor, if they're making a long-term play, offensive line might be the way to go. It's a pick that I could see the Panthers going in 6 different directions. And I'd be like, okay, sure.
I think if Sadiq is there, it's going to be Sadiq. But
I could also see him trying to trade down and just working with the depth of the class. I could see it.
They're a sneaky win the NFC team. Maybe that's crazy to say, but
the whole NFC?
I like their roster a lot. And you know me, we've always been BY supporters over here. So I'm a believer in Bryce and Tet.
The whole NFC is tough. They would have to have an A+ draft to really.
I just think
they could win that division again.
I think I think the performance they put on against the Rams was like a eye opener to people. Okay, they're legit. They're respectable. They held their own, and I think there's a lot to build off from there. Is what I would say.
There's a lot to build off of, but this draft they need to nail this draft if they want to be if they want to get on that level. This is the draft where they have to do it.
All right, you're back on the Cowboys. Are they going McCoy here, you think?
I don't think so. There's some tempting ones. Caden McDonald is tempting.
They got some defensive studs available.
Well,
here.
the one that I'm having a hard time with, there's been look at this. There's been noise, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of this player. but there's been a lot of top 20 noise still in Keldrick Falk, and lately there's been noise about Dallas and Keldrick Falk. Now,
yeah, that's a Jerry Jones player if I've ever seen one. It doesn't surprise me.
Toolsy, big, can move him inside on rundowns. They've got Rashawn Gary, they've got Donovan Ezeraku, but to get that totally rotation and Christian Parker's going to mix up the fronts there, and you're talking about. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is what I would do. But I think we have to get him off the board because he's going to go. The tools are going to get him taken in round one. I'm not going to tell you. I was in the same boat with Shamar Stewart last year. Hated it. I thought he was a second round guy, but he's going to go. If we're not trading, I think this is another trade down spot for Dallas possibly if they don't already trade up before and use this pick. But let's do Keldrick Falk here. I'm not going to tell you I'm very comfortable with it, but I think it is. He's going to go somewhere in this top 25.
Okay, I'm up with the Steelers. Now, my uncle is a big Steelers fan, texted me this morning that didn't Broderick Jones just suffer an injury?
So he had today? A neck injury that he missed the end of the year with. And now apparently there's a setback that they need to re-examine this week.
Tackle just became more of a need than it might have already been.
Oh, the left side of their offensive line is a huge story. I have no idea who their left tackle is. I have no idea who their left guard is at the moment.
So
I think Proctor would have been a good pick if he got here. I think those two tackles on the board you see near the top. Miller and Giannis. Well, any of them, because remember, too, they have Troy Fautanu. Can they play on
the left side, though?
No, Troy Fautanu can do that. They'll move him over.
Okay, so we're looking. Okay, so Fontano to the left. You're thinking, all right.
You can take of those three guys. Now, you could still take Lomu.
Yeah.
You could take whichever of those three guys you just think is the best one, because with Fautanu, you have the ability to move. He played left tackle with your guy Rosengarten at Washington.
Yeah.
So, it does not matter. They just need to take the guy they feel is the best player if they're going this route.
I'm a little lower on Lamu than the others. I've seen him mocked in the first round. I'm looking at either Blake Miller or Ionicher here. Ionicher protected my guy, Levitt, down there as best of his ability, so we love that. But the Steelers don't have, doesn't really matter who their quarterback is right now. We'll get there when we get there.
Well, and this is where you also get into this Ty Simpson question.
I'm not taking Ty Simpson. We've talked about that. I don't mind Ty Simpson as a prospect, but I'm not forcing him to the Steelers here.
If we're not doing trades, he's probably not going to go in this first round. But I think the idea of the Cardinals trading back in and doing the Jackson Dart trade is very real. Extremely.
I'm going to go Blake Miller. I have him just above Ionicher. It's close. I really like Max Ionicher, and I could see him going to the Patriots. I think Vrabel and him are buddies now, but I like Blake Miller there. I've seen him higher on consensus. I think he'll go higher than Ionicher. So
that's a stable pick. I think Ionicher's he's got a higher ceiling. Blake Miller's a stable pick. You plug him in at right, put Troy at left. Broderick Jones, it just didn't work for a multitude of reasons. It just didn't work out there. So it is what it is.
Chargers, the other Harbaugh. Who's the most Jim Harbaugh player here?
I keep thinking about trenches with this team. Pregnon's a guy that sticks out to me. This could be a trade down spot also. Pregnon, where is...
If the Ioane's gone, definitely Pregnon.
Pregnon's a thought. Cassius Howell's so interesting to me, too.
I love Cassius Howell, man. I don't care about the...
Would he actually go first round?
I got him in the first round mock with Trevor last week because I wanted to make a point about tape over traits. That's the point I was trying to make. That I value the tape more than the traits these guys have, I guess.
I think, I'm going to go back to one that I was doing for a while, too. Give me Akeem Mesidor.
Yep, that's who I've done.
For a win now type of team that needs a pass rusher, one more. Yeah, let's do that. Let's finally, we got one more year of Khalil Mack, but let's finally get into a transition here for the and I know there's going to be jokes cracked about, they're the same age, but I don't want to hear it. But no, let's get Mesidor there. I've got him as edge 3. The age concerns, I get it. I'm not as worried about the injury concerns because they weren't catastrophic, and he's lost some weight from what he played what he played at inside earlier. Him at 260, I think can stay healthy. He's nasty. I'm going to do that. Give me Mesidor, and we'll worry about the O-line and the that we're not doing.
So this is now a fun pick that I have with the Eagles because we had some breaking news this morning that it sounds like A.J. Brown and his best friend Mike Vrabel are going to reunite in New England together. That was like an official tweet from Schefter or whoever. So like I'm penciling Brown on the Patriots roster this year, and I think they now need to go receiver first round. Would you agree?
I not need to in the first round, but they need to address it in the top 100.
Well, you can't go Concepcion because that's just Devontae Smith.
Well, they've got Devontae, they've got Hollywood Brown, they have Dontavian Wicks. I mean, no, if they were gonna go receiver here and try to replace exactly what you had with Brown, not
Denzel Boston.
Yes, because I'm not saying he's this good. I don't think he's that good. But if you were going that route, I think.
I have Boston a little lower, but like you said, they have to almost like. I hate saying need because we always talk about drafts for value, not for need, but that becomes a glaring need now if A.J. Brown is indeed on the Patriots. And that's almost like a similar body type replacement, like 6'4", 209, big body, strong at the catch point. Again, I'm a little lower on Boston. I think he's like my wide receiver 6, but the data backs him up and the grading backs him up and all the production was there. So like, I know people who are super high on Boston. I think you'll get different scouting reports depending on who you talk to, but the pick makes sense for Philly.
The Eagles make sense because their passing game is so much about like just take shots on go balls, right, and get vertical and like just win one-on-one matchups. Denzel Boston, for as much as this is a skill that is very much debated because the NFL is a 75% zone coverage league, but Denzel Boston wins one-on-ones and he beats man coverage. A.J. Brown wins one-on-ones, beats man coverage. If you're trying to directly replace A.J. Brown eventually in 2 months here, Boston makes sense. I don't think Boston should be a lock first-round pick, but in the right fit like that one, I do think that makes sense.
All right, Cleveland, your last pick. You took Tate. Are you going to go tackle now?
Yeah. It's just a debate of is it Lomu or is it Ionicher?
Yeah, I can't go Dunker till day 2.
No, he's
way too high.
Late second at best.
Yeah.
This is why all these guys we're gonna get 8 tackles round 1, I think, 7 or 8 of them, because we got to get both of these guys off the board. I've been doing Lomu a lot, more acclimated to left tackle, and he's athletic too. But there's a thought that Ionicher's ceiling is nasty.
I like Ionicher.
He's probably athletic enough to flip sides. He could do it. He is a freak of an athlete.
You going Max?
I'm gonna do it. Let's mix it up. I've gone Tate and Lomu so many times that I'm gonna just mix it up this time and say we're gonna take the game. We're gonna take the swing. Todd Monken takes the swing on Ionicher, put him on the left side and teach him and ride the raw athleticism and see where we can go.
There we go. All right, I've done this pick a few times. This is gonna be one of 2 players to me. I'm not going to argue if you have this player ranked higher. I think this is Caden McDonald or Peter Woods. I have Caden McDonald as my DT1. I think he's the best run defender in the class. I think he's an elite run defender and will bring that to the Bears, which is what they desperately need on that defensive line. Again, they have Grady Jarrett. I wouldn't be surprised if they added another Clemson DT and Peter Woods, who was at one point a top 10 pick at this class.
And keep in mind, Dennis Allen in New Orleans, they took the swing on Brian Brzee. Now, it didn't work, but little smaller.
I think McDonald's a better player, though. Like, I don't care where they went to school. Like, I get what we're saying, but
but they're just so different too.
I know.
Like, do you want athletic penetrator, a little more pass rusher in Woods, or do you just want brick wall, A gap? You're not running in here, McDonald. I'm with you. I love the idea of McDonald in the cold weather trying to block Caden McDonald. Yeah, good luck to you.
I'm going him because I think he's a better run stuffer than Peter Woods. Again, like you said, Woods brings a little more pass rush. I know with Sweat on the outside, I think they have enough pass. I don't want to say enough pass rush because I always say, like, if you didn't win the Super Bowl the year prior, you can always get better. Just like my teams, when they don't win the World Series or NBA Finals, they just refuse to go out and get better.
Round 1 as a 1 seed, yeah.
Yeah, right. And you just lose game 1.
I'll tell you what, if they call Caleb Williams the Iceman in Chicago, I think Caden McDonald will be the Yeti. Good luck getting through that.
That's a good
I'm
one.
telling you, man. Like,
there we go.
I love it. It's just one of those guys that just makes your defense better, man.
Absolutely.
I get it.
All right, your favorite player in the NFL, Josh Allen. Who you drafted for him?
Good player. Good player.
He's okay.
You know me. I know there's a lot of wide receiver noise. All right, first things first. I've said this so many times. If I'm the Bills, I'm trying to trade out of this pick. Like, the Bills, to me,
you're trying to trade every pick, man. Do you want to make any pick in this draft?
This is a trade down, get more darts.
You can't trade every pick in the first. I'm kidding.
Don't try me. I'll do it. I will do it. Everyone but the first one.
I should have done an all trades mock where every single pick is a different team. I think you and Max did that last year. We should have done that.
We might have. I don't. We might have. Or we did one with a lot. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to preface this. I would trade down. The Bills are the perfect team for the Cardinals to come up from 34 with. I think that's mutually beneficial. The Bills
for Ty Simpson, yeah.
Correct.
Or the Bills just draft Ty Simpson to go understudy Josh Allen, right?
If I'm staying here,
his comp. Yeah.
If I'm staying here, I've got a few thoughts. I could go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, which I think I'm leaning towards. I could go Jacob Rodriguez.
A
trade down and getting Rodriguez would really be nice for them. They need a player like that. Or the sneaky one to me is Pregnon here also. They need a guard.
Yeah.
I think on the value of it and where we're at on the board and where consensus generally is on all of those guys I just mentioned, give me McNeil-Warren, because I think getting they've got CJ Gardner-Johnson and Geno Stone and guys I don't trust in like every down roles anymore. McNeil-Warren next to Cole Bishop would give Jim Leonard a lot to work with back there, and they just anything in the middle of their defense helps. And there's a lot of that in this draft. It's the other reason I would trade down. They don't have a second round pick right now because they got DJ Moore.
Yeah, no, and I like that trade. I think they were definitely going to go receiver here if they didn't make that trade. But I mean, Josh Allen gets his wide receiver one now, so that helps certainly. I'm up on the clock with the San Francisco 49ers, so I have a couple holes on the roster here. I still don't love the defensive line outside of Bosa, but I was high on CJ West and Alfred Collins last season entering the draft. So I'm not giving up on those players. I believe you like those guys as well. I still think they can be NFL starters and good above average starters, but Mykel Williams, I was never high on, so I'm not as confident in. I wouldn't be surprised if they add defensive line help here and either Peter Woods or TJ Parker.
I'm going to throw
also receiver. They still have a hole at receiver because the Juwan Jennings situation is not settled. The Brandon Ayuk situation is not settled. Mike Evans is like 35 years old now. Ricky Pearsall kind of underwhelmed. And then Demarcus Robinson's also like 48 years old. So
there's a couple of things I gravitate towards here. And I'm very big on the Niners still needing to improve their defensive line, but I don't think they're going to do it in round one. They traded for Osa Odighizuwa. So like they're not taking Peter Woods because they traded for Osa. They're not taking Peter Woods. It's not going to happen. Edge, they could, but I think they want to give Mykel the shot. I think they go more like day 2 and 3 with D-line. I think to me, the two guys I gravitate for here with San Fran,
KC
and Pregnon are the two guys. KC fits the offense, and he's exactly what they need. They need a different type of weapon.
Or no, Buford's on regulars now. I don't even know who their left guard is. So
right now it's listed as because Spencer Burford left. Right now their guards, Pooney on the right side, but at left guard right now they got Connor Colby listed, who good system fit, but he was a 7th round pick. Does that not
feel like a need pick though, where like you probably could these are some talented pass rushers here, and I get Mykel Williams, but like
I'm going to tell you something.
I like TJ Parker and Hal both over Mykel Williams.
This is the area of the draft from like 20 to 70 where like a lot of these players are so similarly talented that I'm not going to be surprised at any order they go. I'm not. I don't know that Cassius Howe is going first round. He's awesome. I love him. The tape rocks. Yeah. But he's got the shortest arms we've ever seen. Yep. And I'm not the big person with that, but it's going to be a thing. Me personally, for me, you could wait until round 2 for a guard. I don't have all of their draft capital offhand. Actually, I probably do now that I say that. They pick at 58, and then they don't pick till 127. So, like, they could wait on a guard at 58, or if they like Connor Colby a lot, KC or Pregnon would be the guy for me. I've been putting KC with the Niners for 2 months. I mean,
I'm going to do it because I'm not forcing a guard here, and I'm not in love with their receiving core, and I think they need to add more talent. I think KC has a way higher ceiling than Ricky Pearsall. We have talked about Concepcion back to his NC State days. This guy's dynamic as all gets. This dude's going to be a weapon in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan can think of the most creative ways to use this guy. I'm already picturing in my head how he can utilize KC.
And that's the idea. That's what, to me, if KC's going to go round one, I think the exact right team for him to go to is San Francisco.
Purdy's going to dot it up too.
It'd be an A+ match together. Those two need to get together somehow, some way. I like it. It'll be my favorite pick in the draft, maybe.
All right, Texans.
Houston. Pregnon's a thought here. They signed Wyatt Teller, which I don't love. Ed Ingram's playing one guard spot. I mean, they need more interior help.
This could be Pregnon for sure.
This could be Pregnon. This could be Peter Woods.
I think, dude, that you already have like the best defense in the NFL. You could improve it even more with a dominant run stuffer. Next to Hunter and Anderson in the middle there, that would be sick.
If Caden McDonald was here, I would love it.
Oh, dude, that would be insane, yeah.
I'll give you a sneaky pick for this team. That would be a lot of fun. This might be another sneaky Jacob Rodriguez team.
Yeah.
Because their linebacker, I mean, they've got Henry To'oTo'o, they've got Azeez Al-Shaair. Really good in run defense, not great in coverage. You mix especially in some base looks early and even in general and passing downs, you mix in Jacob Rodriguez there. I don't hate that either. Man. Dang it. It's just how much do they trust Wyatt Teller is the big question for me. How many games did he play last year? I want to see because him and Braden Smith, these guys got to be healthy. How many games did Wyatt Teller play last year? He played over almost 800 snaps. Okay, that's not terrible. But he's also still, he's 30. He's only 31. Wow, it feels like he's been around a lot longer than that. All right. Let's have some fun. I'm going to have some fun. Give me Jacob Rodriguez.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's the highest I've seen him in any mock. It's the first time he's made our first rounder, though. I have a famous picture of myself with him in the background at Kilroy's at the NFL Combine. That was awesome.
I think just he adds a different mix to that linebacker room, and if they're not going O-line right away, then the other actually I should have mentioned one other guy I would have thought about there too, which I've probably done here before, Christian Miller too.
Yeah,
he's a sneaky.
I can see them going DT for sure.
Yeah.
So. All right, Chiefs are up. Man, if they get Jermod McCoy at pick 29, that is unfair.
We got the McCoy slide. I'm in.
He's just gonna be a CB1 for them. He's gonna be like their next Trent McDuffie for years. Like that's not fair if McCoy falls to the Chiefs and then he's just the best corner.
I'll tell you right now, if you didn't do that, I would have here at 30.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Even though they took Delane, just get them both in there. You have to go receiver here, though. You have to.
Oh, I don't have to do anything.
I don't have to do anything.
I'm not taking any of those guys at 30. That what you just showed there at receiver?
That's true.
I'm not taking any of those guys. This would be.
Who's going to be their wide receiver one then?
You?
Tutu Atwell? I don't even know who's on their team.
Westbrook Akine. And
Malik Washington.
It's bad, but if the board fell this way, it can't. Keep in mind too, though, they have 7 of the top 94 picks.
I mean, the O-line is atrocious as well. You could go Pregnon and be fine.
Pregnon makes sense. I like Avion Terrell. I still think Jeff Hafley's going to attack this defense, but we took Delano.
Yeah, you could double up at corner and just load up that position, which is a weakness for them. Big weakness. Maybe the worst secondary in the NFL.
Everything's a weakness for them right now. I mean,
what about Quinn Ewers?
It's April and it's already getting late early for the Miami Dolphins. I don't think they would go D tackle 2 years in a row. Dotson Brooks, CJ Allen's a thought. Give me. I'm in between Allen or TJ Parker. No, they already have a CJ Allen. Jordan Brooks. No, give me TJ Parker. Because this team, they ripped apart. Okay. They ripped apart their edge room, and Chop did not. They need Chop to get back right, but I like TJ. I still like TJ Parker as a possible late first round guy.
All right, I'm making this pick to prove my point again because I believe in the player this guy is. I don't care what the measurements tell me. I'm going to say screw the arm length. We're going Cassius Howe, getting him in the first round for the Patriots. Drake May going to help them. They need edge help. Again, they lost Caleb on Chason and just kind of could use a true edge rusher. Obviously, you have Harold Landry really can improve the edge help there. Cassius Howe, this guy, I know he just measured in the second shortest arms ever. I don't care, man. 13.5 sacks. The production was there. 81 PFF grade. This guy's a true elite pass rusher when given the opportunity.
That is not the worst.
We'll see how it translates. We'll see. It's definitely a worry, and I think a team could just not take him in the first round because of that. But I've still seen him in some first, and we're doing this to make a point, I guess.
that is not the worst team that he could go to because you have Landry. They've spent a lot of money on Landry and Draymond Jones, but those two guys profile as good early down players. You can play with Howell. And you can rotate Howell in and out on passing down. So it's like, I don't hate that. And Howell, to be honest, he's not as bad. He's small, yes, and it might not translate, but he's not as bad. He's not a bad run defender. Like, he gets after it, and he understands how to shed blocks. So I actually...
74.
If there was two teams that you could sell me on Cassius Howell first round, it's them and it's Kansas City. If you didn't already go Bailey at 9... Howell at 29.
Yeah.
Like, if you went Caleb Downs at 9, and then Howell at 29, I'd be like,
Howell,
okay,
that's pretty nice too.
That vibe. Yeah, I'd be like, that vibes. I could roll with that.
All right, last pick here. We said we were going to do 40 minutes on it.
No, we'll be fine. I'm doing a 3-rounder with Max tomorrow. Just tune into that.
Oh, there you go.
For walk on, like and subscribe. Well, I love Pons, but I just don't know that he's going first. I think this pick to me is either a corner or it's Emmanuel Pregnon. And there's a lot of nice corners. For as much as I want this to be D'Angelo Pons.
I like corner here.
Pons is my CB3, but I just don't think he's sneaking into the first round. I would love it.
So too small. I love Pons, but yeah, I think he's too small to go in the first.
I'm just gonna see let's go see what consensus says here. Consensus for the things I'm looking at says take Avion Terrell.
That's who I would pick here. I think he's gonna be a very good.
Yeah, I like Terrell better than Hood. Supposedly he was hurt when he ran his 40. He's got the aggression that Mike McDonald loves from those guys. I mean, you talk about the flexibility you still have with Terrell's got nickel flexibility. Witherspoon's got nickel flexibility. His footwork is awesome. He makes up for, even if his 40 time is average, even if it's high 4.4, low 4.5, in reality, he's got quick feet that make up for it, and he's just such a dog. Like, I could see Mike McDonald just loving him. Him and Pons both. They're just so... I would leave Pons outside, to be honest. People ask the nickel question about Pons, and I wouldn't do it. I'd leave him outside. But... yeah, let's round this out with Avion Terrell. I heavy consideration of Pregnon here, but Terrell's really good, and they need to replace Reek Woolen with something.
I do think Terrell is going to go first round on draft night when it's all said and done. So, all right, that's it. Let's look at this mock here, Dalton. Look at that. Favorite pick of the first round that we made, and then least favorite pick.
Just pick one. There's a few that I really like in his. I think stick to the theme though. I mean, the Giants coming out with those two guys, man, oh man. If they Styles and Downs or Styles and Tyson or what, the Giants are in such a good spot to jumpstart this thing. I mean, and even if it ends up like that they can go receiver on day 2 and find somebody. Like it's a receiver class. It's fine on day 2. The Giants, those two picks there and making that. And look, again, I like the trade for the Bengals too. The Bengals needed a Dexter Lawrence. A lot of teams do, but
there's not Giants, one in this draft class. So
the Giants if they get those two, I mean, I believe again, I have Downs 1 and I think Styles 3 on my board. You get those two guys at 5 and 10, you're living, man. You're living. But the trades, I'm telling you, I think the trades are really going to shake this first round up. I don't know that it's going to look anything like this order that we have right now.
There we go. All right, that's all we got for today on the point after with Mitch Kaiser. Dalton, I'm going to do my final Mitch mock, the Mitch mock 3.0. I think I'm going to do that Wednesday, either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning, the day of the draft, because so many rumors flood in overnight, and then you get like a whole new mock draft on the day of. It's like every different pick. So got to get the closest, most up-to-date information out for you guys. So what are your plans for draft night, Dalton? Where are you and Max going live, or what are you guys doing?
Draft night, we don't have any plans to go live. We're going to kind of take the weekend and hang, just kind of let people enjoy the draft, and then get really back heavy into the college football, start really previewing some things as we get into the 2026 season. But our last mock draft is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, 1 Eastern, 3 rounds. We're going 3 rounds. I think I'm trying to convince him. I won't do a boatload of trades in like round 2 and 3 and all that, but I'm going to try to convince Max to get some trades going for this top. I mean, it's a clean top 100. So we're going to go with 100 picks tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Tune into that. Preferred walk on, like and subscribe as always.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Dalton, on the point after with Mitch Kaiser. Again, I will see you guys in a few days with the final mock draft. I just posted my gigantic quarterback draft guide online, so make sure you guys check that out. It's in, I think it's in my Substack as well. So it's like a 65-page PowerPoint slide of 15 quarterbacks, which probably went too deep on them. Probably didn't need to scout 15 of them, but that's what we care. That's what I did for you guys, for the audience here. So don't waste your time scouting 15 quarterbacks. I'll do it for you. So that's why we're here for you. So make sure you guys check that out on my Substack. Like, comment, subscribe to the Point After with Mitch Kaiser, and have a great rest of your week.